Joining me now is Executive Director, Zenith of the Girl Child and Women Initiative Support, Aishatu Kabo. Ms. Kabo, thank you for talking to us on the news this hour. You've seen the statistics, 1 in 3 women worldwide experiencing physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. How are we faring here in Nigeria? Perhaps we want to talk to the state where you operate from.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Good evening to our viewers. Just like the First Lady and every speaker from the various states has said, the violence against women is something that is very phenomenal here. And in Nigeria, especially in some rural communities where women are finding it difficult for their voices to be heard, people will be experiencing issues around GBV, but they are even finding it very difficult for them to come out to say that they are being violated or they are being abused or so many other things. So just like any other country around the world, gender-based violence, although it's not only a Nigerian issue, it's a global phenomenon. But here we have a lot of social and cultural norms that are exacerbating the issues around GBV. And yeah, we cannot say that Nigeria is where we want to be when it comes to issues around GBV and how we wanted to eliminate it completely. But over the years, we can say that the level of the awareness is high. If you take us back to maybe 15 to 20 years ago, nobody comes to the national TV to start talking about 16 days of activism or many other things. Maybe let's even assess it from 5 years ago. The number of organizations coming out to speak about GBV is continuously increasing. We have seen the situation whereby the National Assembly, just like the correspondent from TVC reported, the speaker coming out to say that they are committed to implement or to work with the civil society community to bring the issue of national action plan into limelight and so many other things. So this is to tell you that although we are not where we want to be, but the community and every stakeholder is already buying in the ownership, and by the time that each and every segment of the community, from the lawmakers to the law enforcement agencies to the civil society organizations to our traditional and religious leaders who are the custodian and gatekeepers of our communities, by the time all of these categories of stakeholders come together to say no to gender-based violence or any forms of violence against women and girls, I think will eliminate it in its all forms. So that's the state of where the issues of gender-based violence is. We are not where we want to be in terms of elimination, but we are also not where we were maybe some 2 decades ago or even a decade ago like that.
I hear you clearly. The interesting thing also is that Nigeria has laws and policies in place to protect women and girls from violence, such as the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2015, amongst others. The issue has been with implementation. What role do you see civil society organizations like yours play in enforcing this implementation for the benefit of women and girls?
Okay, thank you so much for this. I think this is one of the key pressing issues that I always talk about, and then this is an opportunity to call on the civil society community maybe this time around. The issue of violence against person prohibition law, we have seen that so many of us have committed so much, including the international community, the civil society. We have added our voices for the domestication of these backlogs across so many states. I have seen how UN agencies supported civil society organizations to push for the adaptation of these laws in the various states. But when it comes to issues around implementation, that is where the issues are. In a situation whereby you brought maybe stakeholders who have a critical role to play in the BAF law. Maybe when you go to the LGS, the primary implementers are, of course, the healthcare service providers, the social welfare officers, the gender desk officers in the police and everything. And then in a situation whereby you bring in all these stakeholders to a room and a police telling you that he don't know anything about the BAF law or he is not aware of it, or a social welfare officer telling you that they don't know about the VAF law. This is really, really disturbing. My call for the civil society community is that our push for advocacy or domestication of laws shouldn't just end at the state capital. Like we have seen wives of governors, the first lady of Nigeria, always coming out to commemorate the 16 days of activism with maybe the ministers of women affairs, the commissioners of women affairs. But how much are we translating those energies to the LGA level?
Okay.
How many wives of local government farming can we say that they comes out to commemorate this day with the same energy? So the issue is that we have these laws in place, but when you go to community, the primary implementers of those laws, they don't even have access to it. Like I have 3 police officers that we brought into Maiduguri as part of our stakeholders that we are training in commemoration of this VAB law. And the interesting to you is that 2 out of the 3 police officers that we brought told us that they don't know VAB law. They are men, they are gender officers. You can just imagine.
I hear you clearly. We've run out of time. Aishatu Kabo is Executive Director, Zenith of the Girl, Child and Women Initiative Support. Thank you so much for talking to us on the news tonight.
Thank you for that.